This will be the best lobster mac and cheese recipe that you've ever had, bar none, hands down, no bullshit, it works every time. I've been a professional chef now for the past 10 years, working in professional kitchens, some of the best restaurants in the world. I'm gonna break down the whole process, right? I'm gonna show you how to prep the lobster. I'm gonna show you how to cook it properly, how to open it. We're gonna make a bechamel sauce by starting with roasting lobster and some Trinity, steeping it into some milk, infusing the milk with all this beautiful roasted lobster flavor. Then we're gonna strain the milk, make a bechamel with that, add the cheese, fold in the pasta, diced andouille sausage, finish it with some breadcrumbs, some Parmesan cheese, and some parsley, and bake it in the oven, all right? It's gonna be so delicious. I cannot wait to show you. First step, I would suggest that you get a beautiful live lobster. Look at that guy, he's doing crunches. When you cook lobster, you wanna cook it live. It's really important that you don't cook dead lobster. The flesh of the lobster, once the lobster dies, it starts to turn mushy. It does make a big difference in the finished product. Lobster claws take longer to cook than the lobster tail. You can cook them in the same pot, but you want to cook them separately, okay? So make sure your water's boiling and make sure your water's salted. The water should taste like the sea. You're gonna take the lobster claw and just look, twist it right off. It'll twist right out, see? I'm probably gonna get roasted in the comments for torturing this lobster, but you know what? It's my video. Both claws out, see? These claws are gonna go in for 8 minutes. So now we've got the lobster, claws are in, and now all that's attached is the tail. Tail, same thing. Take, push it in a little bit and twist it. Twist right out, lobster tail. Female lobsters will have sometimes roe sacs inside here. It's really important that you take them out before you cook the lobster. We need to take the vein out of it, okay? What you wanna do is, see how they have 5 little fins at the bottom? Take the middle fin, detach the middle fin a little bit, wiggle it loose so that you can pull the vein out. Right here, see? At the 5-minute mark, we're gonna be putting this in. We're gonna cook the lobster tail for 5 minutes. I don't want the lobster tail to curl up so much. So if you want a straight lobster tail, take the back of a spoon and look, just slide the spoon into the lobster tail like that. As the lobster tail cooks, it'll want to turn, but the spoon will actually hold it straight in. So now what we have, lobster head, lots of flavor, okay? What I wanna do is I wanna take these antennas off the front. Snap, snap, don't need them. Now what we wanna do is clean this lobster head up so that we can start getting it into a pan, roast it. Pull it apart, okay? What I don't want is the brains. I just want shells and the meat that's inside. This is what we don't want to keep. That's all the brains. I don't want the brain and I don't want the gills. These gills filter water. It's not necessarily something that you want to eat. So you get rid of that and get rid of the brains. All these gills that are attached, take your scissors and just snip them off. So what you're left with is that, missing a leg, this lobster. So now what you want to do is just take your scissors, cut up that lobster body into smaller pieces. Now you can cook these legs, you could take the meat out of these legs if you'd like, but I think that it's not worth the effort in my opinion. Claws have been cooking for 10 minutes. The tail has been cooking for 5. See how it's still straight? Okay, very important that we cool it down, stop that cooking process all the way through so that the lobster tail and claw doesn't overcook, okay? That's super important. Now what we have is this beautiful lobster shells that are left over, okay? We have some of the legs, all right? The shell from the head, a little bit of avocado oil in the pan, neutral oil, high smoke point. Pan's getting hot, nice and smoky, lobster in. You hear that sear, all right? Start roasting that lobster, developing flavor. Make sure that lobster's not burning, not too hot. Okay, and in about 1 minute here, I'm gonna add some butter into the pan. Get nice caramelization. Lobster smells delicious. Some butter. That butter roasting is really good flavor. Smells amazing. Into that, Trinity mirepoix, celery, onion, and poblano pepper. Bay leaf. It's gonna really add another dimension. A couple small cloves of garlic, crush in. In this pan, you're not looking for too much color. A little bit of white wine. Let that white wine evaporate, cook down, cook the alcohol out of it. Then we're gonna go in with our milk. The lobster shells, really nice and pink, roasted, caramelized flavor with the butter. The Trinity vegetables in there, light golden brown, okay? Some garlic, really aromatic, really deep, savory. White wine in there is just give it a little bit of acidity, brighten it up, and just give it that sort of aromatic wine flavor, which is absolutely amazing with shellfish, with any type of fish. That white wine, that bay leaf in there, you could really smell it, really coming through. Okay, that wine is pretty much what we call au sec, pretty much gone. Okay, au sec just means dry, all right? Right at this stage now, I wanna add whole milk, all right? It's about a 3/4 liter of milk, okay, and a splash of cream. We're gonna add cream just to give it a little bit of richness because this dish isn't rich enough already. You know, we need to add a bit of cream to it. Everybody following? Everybody learning? Great. We've got this cream and milk infusing. We're taking bechamel to the next level. The milk has fat. The cream has fat, which means it's gonna take on the flavor of everything in this pot. I'm gonna turn this now on low to medium heat and just let it sit, let it chill, let it simmer, let that milk and cream extract all that flavor from the lobster, from the vegetables. In the meantime, I'm gonna start my roux. Guys, a roux is equal parts flour to butter. So 50 grams of butter just went in the pan. Let that butter melt before you add the flour. Then take your flour, 50 grams, let that butter fully melt. You don't wanna brown it, flour in. Now, this is very important. Use a wooden spoon, okay? Fully incorporate it. Make sure it's not sticking. That starch is cooking. It's constantly sticking to the bottom of the pan. What does that mean? It means you need to move the fuck out of the pan. Yeah, all the children that are out there watching this, do not swear. Do not fucking swear. With bechamel, you're making a blonde roux, okay? Which means it's light. Don't go any further than that, all right? Our milk has been infusing now for about 15 minutes. That's exactly where we want it. Okay, let's strain it right off. See how beautiful? It smells amazing. We want to take out all of that lobster flavor and love. Give your pot a little rinse out. Now we have our milk passed, ready to go. We have a dry pan. What I want to do is get this pan on medium to high heat and get some andouille sausage in there. Nice smoked, garlicky, beautiful andouille sausage from here in New Orleans. Okay, I want to just start rendering that out a little bit. I want to have that texture of that andouille sausage. I want to have it in the finished dish. It's going to be really nice with the lobster. Meanwhile, I'm going to start cooking the pasta. I'm going to get salt in the water. Always salt your pasta water. Scooby-Doo pasta. I like using these for mac and cheese. They hold stuff nicely, all right? So let's get that in. Part of making pasta is understanding that you're always going to make too much pasta. Now that andouille sausage, roast it. Get some color on it. It shouldn't really need fat. There's a lot of fat in there already. So just let the fat render out and let it fry in its own fat. Take that lobster coral that I made earlier, and I'm gonna buzz it into this milk sauce, into this infused milk, okay? Get a little stream going. Pour it slowly into the milk. Getting it fully blended in there. Now watch, you're gonna see what happens as soon as I get that milk in this pan. You don't want it to get too dark, so just be careful. Watch the bottom of the pan. Now you're gonna take your milk, and now look at the color of that. Turns pink straight away, bright orange, and that's because of the coral. The coral's green raw and bright orange cooked. Coral's in, milk's in, andouille's in. Now what we're gonna do is add our roux. Roux is in. Now you're gonna see it just start to thicken. Now you wanna turn the heat down. Be careful. You don't want it to burn, stick to the bottom. Everything's in. Now what we want to do is add cheese. Cabot cloth-bound cheddar, 200 grams. Mix that in. Now the heat's off. I'm also going to put some Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan cheese. The last thing that I want to put is some chopped fresh herbs. Here I got tarragon, dill, and parsley. Tarragon and lobster is a classic combination, goes really well together, and dill and parsley just make sense. Knock those down nice and quick. Remember, your pasta's cooking. Chopped herbs straight in. Make sure you don't overcook your pasta. You can cook it, 75% of the way, 60% of the way. Just take a ladle and just ladle it over that pasta. So this lobster dish actually would cost the consumer $3 million. Here we have our beautiful cooked lobster. Look at how nice, guys, okay? I'm gonna show you how to break down this lobster, the no bullshit method. Start with the claws, okay? Claws, very simple. What you wanna do is break. See? Break, separate. Break, separate. Take your claw, take that, what they call the feather out. See that? Back of the knife, right here. Just break it so that you have a nice, beautiful, not broken claw of lobster. These little guys, I'm going to show you an ancient Chinese secret. Now, when I was working in London, I was working at a restaurant called Core by Claire Smith. Head chef Johnny Bone, shout out Johnny Bone, showed me how to get the meat out of this with a spoon. And I said, Johnny Bone, how the hell am I supposed to do that with a spoon? Look how hard the shell is. And he showed me and watched where the claw's attached so it moves. What you want to do is take your spoon and just wedge it in between and right here. And you're going to bend it the opposite way that it goes naturally. So you're going to force it to break gently. Then use your spoon to nestle out the lobster meat. You can just push it. And if you get it right and you don't break it, which is very possible, you can actually get that whole joint from the claw attached. Shout out Johnny Bone. Take the tail and just push it together so that it breaks on the bottom. And then just nice and gently pull all the shells off. Don't make any crazy movements and try to break it. You really want to try to keep it fully intact. Take it out gently. Try not to rip it. If you do it properly, you'll have a prepped lobster tail. Got our beautiful lobster meat here, see? What I want to do now is just cut it into nice bite-sized pieces, you know, resembling the andouille, but a bit bigger, and just fold that in. No bones in there whatsoever. Last step, all I want to do, a bit of lemon zest. Lemon zest is really going to just brighten it up a little bit. We got a nice baking dish here. We've got our pasta. Give it a little last-minute season, pinch of salt, black pepper, mixy mixy. This is going to blow your mind. Can't wait till you guys try this. Straight into that baking dish. More of that sauce, just over the top. Last step, very important step. Panko breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, chopped parsley, fine ground black pepper, melted butter. Recipe in the description for quantities. Just give that a nice stir. Gonna create this beautiful crust that goes on the top of that lobster mac and cheese. When it goes in the oven, it's gonna start to become crispy. The Parmesan cheese is gonna caramelize. The breadcrumbs are gonna become crispy. See that? This will be the lobster mac and cheese that breaks the internet. You want to cook it at 400. You want to cook it quite quickly because the lobster's already cooked. The pasta's cooked where we want it. We're not trying to cook this dish any further. We're just trying to make those breadcrumbs crispy and golden brown on top. So realistically, 400-degree oven, 10 minutes, I would say. Okay, guys, it's been 15 minutes. The lobster mac and cheese has been in the oven. The crust on top is really nice, caramelized, dark. Okay, we're going to take it out of the oven. We're going to eat it right away, all right? Color, golden brown, even everywhere. It smells amazing. It smells like toasted cheese. It smells like lobster. It smells awesome. Let's see what we got. Fuck. Oh my God, so good. It's actually perfect. Crispy, andouille gives a bunch of texture and flavor, really deep flavor. Lobster's cooked perfectly. Guys, I have to thank my friend Jonathan Suarez with Fortune Fish here in New Orleans, Louisiana. They gave me the cheese that we used today and the lobster. Beautiful products. This recipe's amazing. I recommend you guys try it right away. Follow, subscribe for more. If you guys like this recipe, if you want to see more classic dishes elevated like this, let me know in the comments. Let me just finish eating it.